Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome to the Road to the Record weekly review special for week 8 of the Gaming Decathlon competition. This week I brought in 4,648 points. Not a massive rise from where we were a week ago, but enough to reset the previous best round score, which of course was last week's, to move it up to that 46-48 mark. Current virtual best also going up over 5,000 for the first time to 5,061. Again, not a massive increase from where we were a week ago, but up nonetheless. Likewise, the all-time virtual best topping 7,000 for the very first time, so a new natural landmark there. Also, other landmarks have been hit in that one, but now at 7,083 points, 84 points up from a week ago. Breaking down the 8 active games current, individually, PCM 19 in the career mode, that's where the biggest jump came this week. Now 737 points. Also, seeing the end of the season in that one. Great job as we finish up our Pro Continental career, and we will move on to World Tour status beginning next season, which we actually got into the very beginning of this week. And then in PCM 19, the Pro Cyclist mode, our stage racer, it's so early in the year still, and yet we are just 23 points shy of last season's record. We were a World Tour rider last season. We're a World Tour rider this season. We were with a team that didn't offer us much support last season. We're with a team that tries to offer us support, but can only give slightly more than what we had. But things are just going much better this season than last. And then next season, I should actually have really good support, and I'll be amazed to see how next season goes differently from this season once we have a team that can actually help me to the later stages of climbs till I go on my own. FM20 Zero to Hero, I freaking love that series. I really wish it would get a few more views. I'd love to keep that going for a long time coming. I'd love to see that go 30, 40 years and see if we could win the Champions League at some point. That is my ultimate goal, and I can't wait to get into those later stages. For now, we wrapped up another season. It did end in promotion, but we're still on 181 points, slightly shy of where we were the previous season, just because of the higher level. Now, of course, I finished this up actually a week ago. This season, for the first time, I broke it down a bit further. I didn't just jump to the next season and go. Did some work. Hired some new staff. Switched some training around. Actually spent a little time working on advancing where we're at, see if we can get a little more out of it. And there's a good reason for it. This new level is going to be a lot tougher for us. And I needed to make that step up. Surviving the Aftermath. Second playthrough, right? We did Update 3. Update 3 took us to 492 points. Update 4, in fewer episodes, I'm already at 479. Part of that is my experience from the first time. I knew what I was doing. I was able to get there quickly, efficiently, compared to the last one, and we're already on the verge of toppling that score. Rebel Inc. Not as good this time. We're working on Brutal for our second map now. Did not have success this week with that. Finding this second map quite challenging, and of course I already found Brutal challenging, so it's going to be a while before I think we master the second map. Transport Fever 2, nearing the end of the current run, the current playthrough, and we'll move on to a new map very soon. I'd like to feature that game more frequently once again, because I love Transport Fever 2. That's my game of the moment. Outside of that Zero to Hero series, which I really enjoy, but that's hard to produce. The Transport Fever 2, it's easy. Sit down, record, play. Record, play, record, play. Straightforward. Very simple. So I could really do a lot of episodes in a short period of time, but the views on that one are down to nothing, and that's one of the main reasons why we're about to hit reset on that, put up a new episode 1 on a new map, and aim for some new achievements. But I've got one achievement that we have yet to finish that I need to finish up before we move on. In pro basketball, mid-season now, 96 points. We're starting to get pretty late on. We've passed the trade deadline, and we made a move, and it was a good move, but it wasn't what I was hoping for. We have a major vacancy at small forward that is being filled in by what should be our second unit. And after the trade we ended up making, at this point, I have a very strong 2 deep first and second unit at 4 positions. And again, I have no small forwards, so my second unit is filling in at that 3rd position, and that pulls up what should be my 3rd unit into the second unit at that small forward, and whoever's filling in, whether it's my power forward or my shooting guard, filling in at small forward in the starting lineup. So we're still we're just missing small forward, and otherwise our 2 deep, right, 8 of 10 spots are filled with the squad with pretty good players that I'm happy to have in that 2 deep. So if only we can figure out small forward over the next season or so, I think we could start competing for one of those top seeds and potentially going for a championship. I don't know if we're quite there on that part yet, but it depends on how good of a fill we can get at small forward. But the team itself is starting to get pretty good. And finally, Football Manager 2020, the other 2 games inactive. 2 draws. That's all I managed. It's not sending us the right direction when we're approaching the end of the season. Got some work to do, and just where are we at? 6 games to go in the season, I think, at this point. We're in the promotion playoff spots, but I think we need to be a little bit higher if we're going to have a chance of seeing our way into the Premier League. All-time virtual best side, of course, this is where we saw that little bit of movement. PCM 19 career mode, wrapping its season up and moving up to 4th place, 737 points, moving up 2 spots. FM scored 2 points, didn't change its position, and that's it. The 3 games on the outside didn't improve their scores at all. So that takes us into, well, what landmarks did we hit? Well, first off, there was that natural one, right? We got to 7,000, so that's awesome. That's a new big step in the right direction. But we did move ahead of some of the real-world decathlon records, national records, that is. We did move ahead of the Indonesian record by Julius Uwe with 7,013 points. So we're 70 clear of him. That means our next target, well, if you look closely, our next target is in triplicate. It is 3 national records, a single point apart from one another. So the next up is the Malaysian record at 70.95. That's only 12. It's only a dozen points from where we're at right now, and 13 points to the next 2 on the list. That's a very short gap from where we're at right now. It's not going to take very many points to get there, but of course, PCM 19 career mode, where I've been making my biggest gains recently, well, season just ended, so that one's not going to go anywhere for quite some time. We're going to need points elsewhere. FM inching its way forward, right? We added 2 points this week. How long is it going to take us to get more than 13? I don't know. End of the season's coming on that one as well. So are we going to get that many points out of it? But then, of course, there are 4 active games in the top 10. So there's 4 opportunities for those points to emerge somewhere. So I don't think those 3 spots in the standings are going to stay ahead of us for too long. How long, though? Can't say for sure. But we are up to 83rd on the list, and we're about to crack the top 80, just like that. So I did mention before that those records are going to start getting much much, much closer together. And I didn't necessarily mean that we were going to have 3 just 1 point apart, but the entire top 80 gets much closer together as a whole. As those first couple were major differences. But yeah, now it's going to start getting tight. It's starting to get to that competitive point. People who are actually, okay at the decathlon versus just some random athlete who might be a decent athlete, but not, somebody who really deserves to be at the Olympics. That's going to do it for this review special. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.